president's private secretary? Will the private secretary act without the president's consent? Answer that question via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha, as well on the SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens, and I'll be sampling some of your feedback and comments before wrapping up New Dawn this morning. In fact, President William Ruto has been warned by Gachagua that it will trigger acrimony in the country if at all he is ousted. Gachagua stated that any crucial bill will not be or will not see the light of the day if at all President William Ruto does not give a thumbs up to it. And so, if at all the impeachment motion will be tabled in the National Assembly, then it will be apparent that President William Ruto knew that it's being tabled. And Gachagua is just requesting that instead of mirroring the previous regime's actions, where President Ruto served for 5 years, and for the second time it's alleged that he was not able to serve in his capacity as the second in command under the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. This time round, Gachagua is requesting that now that he served at least for 5 years, how about for the 3 years that are remaining, I get the opportunity to also serve as the deputy. And we ask, is the deputy president's position actually jinxed? Since the 2010 Constitution, in which the first deputy president, remember previously we had the vice president, and so the first deputy president, being William Ruto, almost underwent similar issues, and now Rigathi Gachagua. So we'll be reviewing how that looks. Remember the battle of who is the Mount Kenya kingpin? Now, according to Rigathi Gachagua, it's the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who he says they're in good terms. At one point, remember, Gachagua pleaded for forgiveness from the former president and as well the family, the first family. That is, of course, it includes Mama Ngina Kenyatta. And so, according to Rigathi Gachagua, clearly dismissing the endorsement by at least 68 MPs or 48 others, will say that the interior boss, Kindiki Kindiki, is the Mount Kenya kingpin. So according to Rigathi Gachagua, it's Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, between Uhuru Kenyatta and Kindiki, who would you consider the Mount Kenya kingpin? And how will the voting bloc look like come 2027? This even as the ODM chair Gladys Wanga wants the deputy president to focus on national matters and not converse around his position. She believes those are just selfish or for selfish gains. This even as the Nairobi boss, Johnson Sakaja, is still at war with the second in command over the Nairobi matter or affairs. Traders were supposed to be relocated. Gachagua, of course, went and addressed them. And Sakaja also rebutted on the same. And so we'll be also highlighting that with my guest in studio. That is Professor Fred Ogola, who is a governance and economic expert. Honorable Zahir Janda, Nyaribari Chache, Member of Parliament, and as well Fanya Mambo Kinuthia, a political analyst. What is the process of removing from office a deputy president? What options does Rigathi Gachagua have, and also President Ruto? And is the broad-based government cushioning Ruto against his rogue deputy? Keep the conversation going via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha, and as well I'll be sampling some of your feedback once again before wrapping up New Dawn this morning. And so before getting to our newspaper review segment this morning, we first of all highlight these particular stories where Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has called on President William Ruto to come to his rescue amid heavy political artillery directed to him by persons said to be close allies of the president. As Ian Kitani now reports, his sentiments come even as talks of a looming impeachment take center stage.
A day after Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua narrated his tribulations despite being second in command and for the longest time insisting that he represents key shareholders in the Kenya Kwanza administration. With a looming impeachment on the cards, the embattled DP is now calling on the president to keep his promise and shield him from the current political heat.
The other day I asked the president to keep one promise to the people of Kenya that requires no funding, requires no IMF, requires no World Bank. He promised the people of Kenya that under his watch, his deputy will never be humiliated. Didn't he promise? We're asking him to keep that promise. If he can't keep that one promise, nobody can trust him to keep any other promise.
Despite calling on his boss to protect him, the second in command was quick to slam those plotting for his ouster, maintaining that he was duly elected.
Na sisi tulichaguliwa tikiti moja. Mimi hapana, rais alinipatia kazi, ni nyinyi. Si ndio? Ni nyinyi ama si nyinyi? Sisi tunasema kama hamutaki Rigathi Gachagua, sasa si uje takwisha. Rais wetu na kuomba, hii serikali usiharibu. Hii serikali tulipata pamoja. Hii serikali wacha tutembee pamoja. Wacha tukafanye kazi miaka 3 ile imebaki. Hapo mbele kama uko na maneno ingine unaweza amua.
A visibly charged Gachagua did not shy away from reminding his boss on how he got to the house on the hill.
Sisi ndio tulipatia William kura ile mingi zaidi. Yeye amekalia State House kwa sababu ya kura zetu. Iko ukweli ama uongo? Sisi naomba wale watu marafiki ya rais, musidharau sisi watu ya Mlima Kenya. Musituoneshe matapiko. Musituoneshe madharau. Sisi ndio tulimchagua William Ruto akakuwa rais wa Kenya. Ni sisi tulimchagua, sio sisi. Kama mumechoka na sisi, mkuja hapa Githurai mtuambie. Si ndio?
The claims of impeachment of the deputy president have yet again gathered momentum, with Kimilili MP Didmas Barasa yesterday noting that the DP will be impeached by the end of this year. His Kapseret counterpart Oscar Sudi, in a cryptic tweet today, said that all will be done in 2 weeks' time. However, Githunguri MP Gathoni Wamuchomba was swift in her response.
Oscar Sudi, Sudi, dede teke kwao. Sudi, Sudi, umeandika kwa mitandao wewe, ukasema ya kwamba ni 2 weeks, na umeandika saa hii. Nataka wewe Sudi ujue hii Kenya sio yako peke yako. Hiyo maneno munaandika hapa kwa mitandao, ati munatuona kwa kanisa munaandika 2 weeks. Tunataka utuambie ni 2 weeks. Munataka kufanya nini in 2 weeks? Tunataka kujua.
With the impeachment motion said to be on the cards, ousted UDA SG Cleophas Malala was quick to note that if indeed there was a motion, then the head of state must be in the know.
Hakuna impeachment motion ambayo itaenda kwa bunge kama party leader wetu hajaweka mkono. Sasa mkiona impeachment motion ya Rigathi Gachagua imefika kwa bunge, mjue yule mtu aliidhinisha ni kiongozi wetu wa chama cha UDA.
He further hinted that his tribulations might have been brought about by the said plan to impeach the deputy president.
Wakaniambia mimi kama katibu mkuu niweke mkono kwa ile impeachment motion ya kutoa huyu mtu ati kwamba tuweke wabunge wetu. Mimi nimesema sitaweka kidole yangu kwa sababu huyu Rigathi Gachagua tuliona alingangania Mheshimiwa William Ruto.
Ian Kitani, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Well, remember that will form a better part of a conversation this morning on the state of politics, one that you can't afford to miss. Meanwhile, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has condemned what he calls as violation of human rights by the National Police Service following a string of abductions and forced disappearances suspected to be enforced by police officers. Kalonzo, who led a delegation of Azimio leaders at a church function in Kajiado County, directed his blame to President William Ruto's administration for allegedly misusing security agencies to harass and intimidate Kenyans. DAPK party leader, that is Eugene Wamalwa, says the conduct of Police Deputy Inspector General Gilbert Masengeli was an indication that police are involved in kidnappings.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, DAP Kenya Party leader Eugene Wamalwa, and Jubilee's Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni were in Kajiado County for a church service. The three are what is left of the Azimio coalition. Kalonzo and his Azimio comrades made the abductions of 3 Kenyans in Kitengela their main talking point.
Tumesoma story ya vijana watatu, Aslam na ndugu yake Jamil na Bob Jagi, ambao walishikwa Kitengela. Kwanza Bob Jagi alitolewa kwa matatu.
According to Musyoka, the abductions and forced disappearances of citizens critical of the government was being enforced by the National Police Service, working at the behest of President Ruto's administration.
Watu wakajitambulisha wakasema wao ni polisi. Yaani ukiukaji wa sheria. We are the alternative government of the Republic of Kenya. Tarehe 25 mwezi Juni, historia ya nchi hii ilibadilika. Watoto wakapigwa tear gas, wakapigwa risasi. Na sababu gani? Kwa sababu wamebeba national flag, heshima ya nchi yetu. Wakapigwa maji mengine yenye sumu, wakauawa.
On his part, DAP Kenya Party leader Eugene Wamalwa took issue with the character of Deputy Inspector General of the Police Gilbert Masengeli, who narrowly survived a 6-month jail term for contempt of the court.
Mahakama imeita IG wa polisi kusema watoto wako wapi maende jela. Siku hiyo ndio umewachilia hawa vijana watatu wa Kitengela. So leo tukija Kajiado, tunataka tuambie Bwana Ruto na serikali yake ya Kenya kwanza ya kwamba the issue of abductions, enforced disappearances and killings of young Kenyans must stop. Mambo haya lazima yakome. Sisi Kenya tunataka amani. Kenya tuna katiba, tuna mwongozo wa sheria. Kama watu wanataka kufanya maandamano, wana haki ya kikatiba sababu wamefinywa na ushuru.
This was in connection to the case where 3 Kitengela residents had been abducted and held incommunicado for 31 days. Jubilee's Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni reckons Kenyans have to choose between 2 groups, one that wants to save the country from UDA rule and another one that wants to save the president.
Operation Okoa Kenya na Operation Okoa Zakayo. Wewe kama huko Operation Okoa Zakayo, chukua mkono juu hata yako umeweka juu. Hii binu yote, kelele yote unaona kwa mlima ni Operation Okoa Zakayo. Hakuna chama inaitwa UDA itakuwa kwa mlima 2027. Hakuna. Hata Ruto mwenyewe hata simama na UDA.
Timothy Simwake, 24 TV.
Away from that, President William Ruto now says he's open to the possibility of converting the Kenya police operating in Haiti to a full United Nations peacekeeping operation. President Ruto, who is visiting Haiti ahead of his UN General Assembly address, has pledged to add 600 more police officers to support the mission. And as Martin Opio now reports, President Ruto has hailed the performance of the Kenyan squad despite ongoing violence in the Caribbean nation, as the fears that gangs are targeting new areas causing further displacement emerges.
Maiden trip to the Caribbean country of Haiti.
The president sought to find out in person how far the success of the mission is. In his assessment, Ruto was quick to call the naysayers of the mission.
As you will recall, your deployment was initially met with skepticism, criticism, and pessimism. But because of your courage, your competence, professionalism, and effectiveness in executing your mandate, this mission now enjoys strong national support in Kenya and global acclamation across the world.
According to Ruto, the Kenya police, who are part of a multinational security support mission, have succeeded in the mission. There is much to be done to secure the gang-led Haiti.
I have been briefed about the progress that has been made around the airport. I have also gotten an elaborate brief on what is happening
at the National Police Academy, where we now have recruits being trained, a facility that wasn't working before. I have also been briefed about what is happening at the National Hospital, which had been overrun by gangs, and that now that has been restored by the collaboration between you and the Haitian National Police.
The head of state is promising to send another batch of 600 more police officers in addition to 400 that had been dispatched late June to complete the required number of 1,000 approved by the United Nations Security Council. Ruto is on his way to the United General Assembly, where issues Haiti are expected to feature. The UN Security Council is due to meet by the end of the month to decide whether to renew Kenya's current mandate for another 12 months, paving the way for a full UN mission in 2025. This would lead to increased funding and resources for the operation, which has been hampered by lack of equipment. President Ruto is open to the idea of a full conversion. The 15-member council is due to vote on September 30th on a mandate renewal. Among the concerns for the team is that the mission was inadequately equipped and needed helicopters as well as night vision goggles and drones.
So that friends and partners and many other people who believe in stability and peace can work with me at the UN General Assembly to make sure that you get the requisite support, human capital, equipment, and also other resources to make sure that you deliver on this mandate.
It is 100 days since the operation kicked off, and the gang is said to be moving to new areas amidst the escalated battle between the police and the gang. Martin Opio, K24 TV, Nairobi.
On to other news, members of parliament have been urged to set a budgetary allocation for grassroots infrastructural development and put in policy mechanisms to give full effect to free basic education while seeking to their oversight role. This follows a call made by civil organizations or groups appealing the High Court decision that allowed the existence of NGCDF until June 2026. Bentura Komboka with that report.
Civil organization groups now want the outlawed NGCDF to cease operations by June 2025.
Tunagojea kutengeneza makaratasi yetu, tuende mahakama ya rufaa, tukaseme kwamba mradi huu ukuishe kama vile Justice Mugore Dhande alivyosema kwamba ukuishe tarehe 30 mwaka wa Juni mwaka ujao. We are telling them, including the leader of the majority, that there is no legislative genius that can align the NGCDF or CDF or whatever they want to call it to the doctrine of separation of powers. Wakipitisha sheria nyingine ambayo ni kinyume na katiba, tutarudi mahakamani, na pia tunaweza kuambia wananchi kama vile vijana wa Gen Z walifanya tarehe 25 mwezi wa Juni.
While addressing the media, the organizations led by the Institute of Social Accountability want the national and county governments to undertake development and members of parliament stick to their legislative mandates.
Wabunge wanatakikana wafanye kazi zao. Wawachie magavana na rais kufanya kazi ya maendeleo katika sehemu zao za uwakilishi. Ukiangalia katika vile katiba inavyosema wakati huu ni kwamba mbunge apitishe sheria, asimamie matumizi ya pesa za serikali, ile tunaita kwa kimombo oversight, na pia awakilishe watu, ile tunaita representation. Hakuna mahali katiba imesema kwamba mbunge aende akatoe zabuni katika sehemu yake ya uwakilishi. Na tunajua kwamba wabunge hawa wanawapatia watu wa familia zao ama mabibi zao, wake zao ama mipango yao ya kando zabuni za kujenga madarasa, za kununua buses za shule.
Further, they want Parliament to set a budgetary allocation for free education and affordable secondary education to cater for the needs that were covered under the fund.
We call on Parliament to now step up their budget allocation and general oversight role to ensure that resources are allocated for the development of grassroots infrastructure for national government functions, while also putting in place budget and policy mechanisms to give full effect to free basic education while keeping post-secondary education affordable for all, as opposed to having indigent Kenyans relying on bursaries whose administration and issuance is not the most dignified.
At the same time, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has called for the reinstatement of the fund, saying its removal will hurt Kenyans.
Kama mbunge nauliza mahakama yetu waangalia hii maneno ya kusema CDF itafutiliwa bali. Na mimi nasema hivyo kwa sababu nimeona kazi ya CDF. Kama mbunge wa Kiharu, shule zetu zote za msingi zinakaa academy. Zote ziko na tiles huku chini. Wanafunzi wa Kiharu wa day schools wanalipa 1,000 peke yake kwa sababu ya CDF na mambo mengine ambayo tunawekelea kwa hiyo mpango, lakini CDF ikiwa msingi ya hiyo mpango. Tukisema CDF ikwishe, ni hawa wazazi wa Kenya tunabebesha mzigo ya school fees na maendeleo.
On Friday, a 3-judge bench comprising of Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Justice Mugure Thande and Lady Justice Rosalina Borelli ruled that the fund is unconstitutional. Further, the High Court directed the fund remain in operation until midnight of June 2026 to take care of ongoing projects. The fund had been found of duplicating government functions, undermining the principle of devolution and violation of the doctrine of separation of powers. Activist Wanjiro Gikonyo, who challenged the fund, argued that the NGCDF formed after the old CDF Act was quashed by the High Court, created an unconstitutional third layer of governance. Bentura Kwamboka, K24, Nairobi.
Well, and as promised, today being on a Monday, we focus on the state of politics, and already my guest in the studio, that is Professor Fred Ogolla, governance and economic expert, Fanyamambo Kinuthia. He is a political analyst and set to join us in just about a few. Will be Honorable Zahir Janda Nyaribari Chache, Member of Parliament, even as we focus on matters politics, what has been happening with the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua complete his term as the second in command, or as talks are out there that before December he will be ousted, even as he warns President William Ruto that this will trigger acrimony in the country. Keep the conversation going via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha as well on SMS and WhatsApp numbers, and I'll be sampling some of them before wrapping up New Dawn this morning. We take a short commercial break. We'll be back with the newspaper review. Stay tuned.
DJ Bludgy, K24 TV Mix Master.
Leo ni kufinish kumalo
like a boss.
Antaka that.
Yo, when it comes to playing the best music videos, we've got you covered. Check this out, Caribbean. Afrobeat.
Now which kind life way I never see.
Our famous and infamous Ken Jams.
Tena we mapewa tibag na jag.
Goda, 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 tena strictly mkwela, no other tender.
And all the hits from across the globe.
That's just how we roll.
This is the Beatbox. Monday to Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. only on K24.
Bad breakfast experiences? I get it. Morning Vibe is here to switch it up. An experiential and interactive show to set your vibe just about right. I mean, vibes don't lie. Join me, Rami Majala, every Monday to Thursday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on K24 TV.
We interrupt this program to bring you some breaking news.
Meet the team of undercover teenage spies working for a fictional version of the secret intelligence agency known as the MI9.
This keeps happening!
They had to strike a balance between school life and their job as secret agents.
First day back at school and we're gonna be late. Shh.
MI High. Every Saturday from 10 a.m. Only on K24. Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
Wewe Mungu niteteae. Mipango ya Mungu ni ya ajabu.
Na vile nimeonja pendo wako, sasa najua ungenifikia weni baba. Nina siri na Yesu.
Hii season enjoy na GoTV. Beste yako wafuta. Tuna connect na ligi zote. Jishikie GoTV leo ujinice na the best futa live on Supersport. GoTV. Love it.
Good morning. I'm glad you're still watching K24's New Dawn. My name is Joel Chacha. Even as today we focus on the state of politics. In studio, I'm joined by Professor Fred Ogolla. He is an economic and governance expert. Thank you for creating time this morning.
Thank you very much, Joel.
And as well, Fanya Mambo Kinuthia, our political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Set to join us shortly will be Honorable Zahir Janda. He is the Member of Parliament in Nyaribari Chache. We begin with the newspaper review this morning with our own publication here at MediaMax, Kenya's #1 free newspaper. That's the People Daily. Splashes of Ruto men set to reap from DP's misfortunes. Bleak future. Interior CS touted as possible replacement. A move that will see majority leader sent to Harambee House and Kiharu Member of Parliament elevated to House leadership if Gachagua is kicked out. But even before getting to that conversation, on page 8 of the People Daily, still captured on the, of course, cover page of the People Daily, that is the PD. Kalonzo Karua parties on the spot over money. That is on page 8. Let's just propose it quickly. That is on PD, Kenya's #1 free newspaper, our own publication here at MediaMax, where political parties irregularly use running funds. Auditor General Nancy Gathungu has unearthed massive irregularities in how political parties have been utilizing millions of shillings given to them under the political parties fund. A scan through about 25 small and big parties raises questions regarding financial improprieties, including unsupported expenditure, failure to establish party offices in the required 25 counties, and as well unsupported use of goods and services. The parties in question include Amani National Congress, that is ANC, associated with the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi; Wiper Party owned Kalonzo Musyoka; NARC Kenya, associated with Martha Karua; KANU, headed by Gideon Moi; Safina Party, headed by businessman Jimmy Wanjigi; Tujibebe Party, headed by former Kiambu Governor William Kafogo; Democratic Party of Kenya, Kadu Asili, headed by Emmanuel Lenzai; and the Chama cha Uzalendo, headed by Maur Bwanamaka. Others are Mabadiliko Party of Kenya, National Agenda Party of Kenya, National Reconstruction Party, People's Trust Party, United Party of Independent Alliance, that is UPIA, Chama cha Kazi, Federal Party of Kenya, Grand Team Development Party, Justice and Freedom Party, Kenya Union Party, People's Democratic Party, Ubuntu People's Forum, and UDP. I believe I must have mentioned one of your parties there. Now, under statement of funds, with respect to the Wiper Party, that is led by Kalonzo Musyoka, the report fingered the party for understatement of political parties fund and supported revenue from non-exchange transactions and supported general expenses, lack of segregation of duties, as well as failure to establish adequate party offices. On political parties fund, the report raises concerns. Remember, this is the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu's report, that the party was unable to explain 7.2 million Kenya shillings out of the 343.3 million received from the political parties fund, while on general expenses, the report raises concerns over the party's failure to account for 15.8 million received by the party. Prof. Ogola?
Yes.
These are, political party leaders who are now on the spot. Kalonzo Musyoka